The Bamboula dance has a rich cultural story and meaning to its existence. It is a dance that most likely began in Africa and made its way to the Virgin Islands through slave importation. Dr. ChenziRa Davis Kahina, founder, developer of Per Ankh Conversity Institute, which is dedicated to the education of culture, amongst other arts, has done research into this historical dance.
I was able to identify that the Bamboula may have had different names, but the reference of having a dance of resistance, a dance that was banned because of its very African foundations and roots, it was all over the Caribbean.
She describes that in her findings, the Bamboula, which may have had different names, was a dance of resistance.
It was connected to communicating, whether it was around initiation, whether it was around naming ceremonies, whether it was around marriage, whether it was around coming of age, whether it was around death, whether it was around resistance. And so we started to go forward, I should say, into history and begin to look at what were the names. For example, we know of Bamboula as bomba, very similar type of dance step style with a more staccato, quote unquote, Afro-Latino rhythm in its foundation. But bomba is that same dance of resistance, that same communicative kind of art form between the drummer, the dancer, and spirit.
Dr. Davis Kahina says that this dance was found to be all over the Caribbean and even places in the United States.
And as a matter of fact, we found it even in the southern parts of the United States. We found it in certain parts of Central and South America in regard to the dance step style, the same all-white attire, and many the head ties, the connections to the enslavement experience, but the connections to the empowering experiences and the resilience and the endurance of enslaved Africans in the Western Hemisphere.
Although the Bamboula may have originated from Africa, this was a popular Negro Creole slave dance performed also in Louisiana that dates back before the Civil War and was still danced around 1886. It was said to be danced by the slaves in the Place Congo Square in New Orleans. However, it was stopped by the police in the Congo Square and only the music survived. Likewise, it became outlawed in St. Thomas Virgin Islands in the 1600s. This was due to plantation owners misunderstanding it to be an act of revolt. They were most likely threatened by the loud beat of the drums and body movements. As a result, Governor Georgian Iverson banned Bamboula dancing on the island of St. Thomas. Slaves who were caught dancing Bamboula faced being jailed at Fort Christian and a public lashing. Despite this, throughout the centuries, slaves found a way to keep this dance alive. One of the examples of revolt in the using of the Bamboula dance was in September of 1892, led by Queen Keziah in Charlotte Amalia St. Thomas. The event occurred because the business people were cheating the female mine workers by paying them in Mexican currency. In protest, 200 Bamboula dancers came out to the port and chanted. The Bamboula, although not as popular in today's culture, is still being kept alive by a few who see the significance of reclaiming this dance.